All right, Lee Teat. Welcome everybody into the Friday main event. I am Mike Mulder, and he is Lee Teat, and we are wet, Lee.
Yep, we're getting dripped on, rained on, but like we said earlier, the players, the coaches, everybody that decided to play tonight is dealing with the same thing.
All the ones that didn't wimp out and move their game to last night, right?
Yeah, I ain't gonna say
All
that.
the tough guys that kept it for tonight, like us, right? All the dummies, however you want to look at it. We got a big night of football. We got a bunch of great coaches lined up, and one guy I've been itching to talk to all season
Yes, sir.
is our buddy Coach Greg Ryan over at Greenback. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Oh man, other than being wet, we're doing good, man.
I hear you.
I guess you guys get a little rain up that way too, aren't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's raining here hard too. But I mean, just like you guys said, I don't get. I guess we're the part of the super crew, or the us it's not wimps. I don't know which one's true, but football's meant to play outside, so we're just gonna deal with whatever happens.
I hear you, buddy. Well, Coach, Lee and I, we had you guys as our preseason number one. Of course, you guys had kind of a rough start to the season with a couple of losses at Loudon and Meggs, but, both of those teams have proven to be very good. What did you kids take away from those early losses that's made you guys a better team this year?
Well, we there are lots of things really. I mean, we knew coming into the season defensively who our best 11 guys were.
Mm-hmm.
The issue we had was having guys in the correct position and guys getting familiar with what we like to do.
Right.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. Loudon and Meigs County is really good football teams, and if we just play them again, I don't know what the score would be.
Mm.
But I can tell you this: we've improved night and day from those games, and I mean, so the biggest thing was we had to trust one another defensively. I mean, when you got a bunch of we've got guys that we got 11 guys we feel like can really play football, but they hadn't played together, and so it took some mistakes that we had to make. That's the worst thing about single A football, in my opinion, as a coach. It's hard to simulate anything in practice.
Right.
So you get into a game and then you come back and watch the film and you can see mistakes. I mean, in practice, lots of times you can't get a good enough look to be able to notice mistakes.
Right.
And obviously, if we see mistakes in practice, we try to correct them on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And but I mean, lots of times that's not the issue until you get to play the real football game. So, but not to take nothing away from Meigs County and Loudon, both really good football teams. I think they've proven that since they played us. I mean, Meigs
Right.
County's lost one game. Loudon's still undefeated.
Right.
I mean, but we've moved on from that and got better every week, and hope we continue to do so.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, we had to go all the way back to 2014 to find your last region loss, and back to 2009 to find a losing record at Greenback. Typically, we think it's tougher to maintain dominance in the smaller classifications, but how has Greenback been able to be so dominant for so long?
I don't know. That's a very good question. I mean, because year in, year out, the region we play in is really tough.
Yes,
I mean,
right.
Harriman's been down the last couple of years. Midway has been down the last couple of years, but year in, year out, it's been dogfight.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Cofield and Oliver Springs, they're still really good football teams. I mean, let me tell you, Oliver Springs score, what you've seen in the score is not very, doesn't tell the true story if all you've seen was the score, because Oliver Springs' best player, I don't know his name, but his number is 44. He didn't play against us,
Mm-hmm.
and we got off to a really good start and probably played our best football game of the season
Right.
against Oliver Springs. So, it's I don't know. Those games, I don't think our kids get up anymore for those games, but obviously those games really count more so than anything else. But as coaches, we don't really stress from one game to the next. We just try to get better each week, and with opening up the season with opponents like Loudon and Meigs County, get you battle tested by the time the region starts. So I think that helps us, and that's what we've done every year since I've been head coach. Is we played two really good teams before region starts, and hopefully we get better from watching the film after playing those two teams.
Right.
Right. Well, Coach, you mentioned your defense. You guys kind of had an idea what you wanted to do there. I think defensive coordinator Brian Hanley, I assume that's Bryce's dad. He's done a great job for you guys running that defense. I know he's been with you a while through state titles, a lot of victories. What has Coach Hanley meant to the team? What meant to the program?
Oh, a lot. I mean, Brian Henley's a greenback guy. You know, he was on the 1987 team, and he was a runner-up for Mr. Football.
Okay.
You know, he rushed for over 2,000 yards the year we won the state in 1987.
Wow.
So he's very well known and respected around the community as a player, as a man, and then recently, you know, as the last 6 or 7 years, however long he's coached here, you know, he's done a really good job as defense coordinator, and we work well together. I mean, that's the thing about Brian is you know, he's got no chips on his shoulder. You know, I mean, he and I never argue about things because it's you know, if it's a case where you know he may want to do one thing and I want to do the other, he respects me as the head coach, so we get along. We get along really good, but most of the time we're on the same page on everything, and you know, not just Brian, but the entire staff. They do a really good job of getting kids ready to play from week to week. So, you know, we're obviously I couldn't be in a better situation.
Yes, sir.
Coach, we talked a little bit here about your defense, but you know you graduated Mr. Football last year, Bryce Hanley, but the football god smiled on you this year as Braden Carnes opted to transfer over from Maryville, and I think he put you in a good position, you know, great position actually behind the center. But how important's Braden been to your success this season?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, in December, you know, we lost 16 seniors,
Right.
and we, you know, I mean, we really didn't. Just to be honest with you, in the whenever Murphy Fair asked me to put the region lineup out, you know, I mean, at that point, um, we didn't have a Braden Carnes, you know, so you know, and I actually picked Oliver Springs to win the region at that point. So you know, I mean, uh, you know, I did obviously you don't know.
Right.
Uh, Things are going to happen. But yeah, Carnes just kind of fell into her lap, you know, and I mean, he's thrown for 33 touchdowns, 2,480 yards. I mean, he's on a pace right now to, you know, to break a lot of records, not only school records, but possibly some state records as well. And Braden's a really super kid. He's got a great family. You know, and not to mention he's a really good, smart quarterback that throws the ball. I mean, he may not have the total athletic ability of Bryce Hanley as far as, you know, we asked Bryce to do a lot of things with his feet. Not that Carnes cannot run the ball. I mean, we hadn't asked him to do a whole lot of that. But Braden's really good. What makes Braden really special is how he throws the deep ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the biggest thing when you come watch us play is you'd be amazed at how well he throws, you know, any deep route. I mean, he just almost every time hits you on dead stride, and that makes it tough to stop in high school football.
Mike Mulder and Lee Teat joined by phone with Greenback head coach Greg Ryan here on the Friday Man event. Coach, probably our favorite kid up there is Holden Willis, and there's two reasons for that. Obviously, he's an incredible talent, you know, very gifted kid, but more importantly, his mom, Sherry, she's a big fan of the Friday Man event.
But, yeah, yeah, the whole family. I'm sure the whole family. That you know, the Johnsons. That's his mother's maiden name.
Yeah.
The Johnsons are a longtime Greenback people that's been around the program and seen a lot of football and always support all sports at Greenback, not just football. But yeah, Holden, he's you know, I mean, he's a 6'4", 205-pound kid that runs pretty. You know, he runs 4.6 laser time.
Mm-hmm.
He's really strong with the ball offensively. I mean, he's got 18 touchdowns on the season, over 1,000 yards already receiving. And, you know, I mean, the credit to him, I mean, he's around this area, in the East Tennessee area, he's second overall in punting percentage. He's averaging 43.6 yards a punt, too. So, and then defensively, we ask him to do a lot of different things. Sometimes, depending on our situation, he'll play outside linebacker and come in the box. Sometimes he'll play free safety. You know, sometimes we'll actually put him at corner if they got a go-to receiver that we want to shut down. So Holden can do a lot of things.
He's a mismatch for a lot of teams, isn't he?
You're a receiver, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
He, you know, I mean, he goes and gets. You know, you got guys that run good routes, but he's a special talent when it comes to just going to get the ball. You know, when the ball's in the air, he thinks it's his.
That's right.
So you know, I mean, so that makes us more dangerous.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, another kid who's definitely stood out to us, obviously, is Darrell Bailey. We He is attending Virginia Tech next season? Is that correct?
Well, he's committed.
Committed
Virginia
to.
Tech. I'll say this. I'll say this. He's had Darrell has got 33 offers.
Right.
Some of them obviously once he committed backed off because they assume he's going to Virginia Tech. I'll say this. I don't know that Darrell has 100% made up his mind that Virginia Tech is going to be the place simply for this reason. The day he committed, the following day, and I don't remember his name, the defense coordinator that's been there for years at Virginia Tech
Right.
announced that this was his last year. He's retired. Well, him and Darrell was, Darrell, that was one of the main reasons Darrell was going to go to Virginia Tech.
Right.
So he's getting recruited by teams like Oklahoma and Mississippi State. He went down to Mississippi State last weekend, South Carolina, LSU, lots of different places. So whatever he decides, at the end of the day, he can't go wrong because all these universities are really good places, and it just be whatever fit he decides what's best for him. But no, some of the people around here. What's funny is some of our fans, they see a kid like Darrell Bailey, and they think he should make every play. What they don't realize is Darrell gets double teamed
and triple teamed,
double team and triple team, and still he may not make a tremendous amount of tackles within the game, but he gets so much penetration therefore.
Right.
He does things that we ask him to do. He just makes our linebackers play clean, and they can't get to that level. So it makes our entire defense better.
Well, Coach, I know you got things going on over there, buddy. We appreciate you jumping on with us, and we fully expect to catch up with you again a little bit later this year if that works for you.
Okay, absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck to you, buddy.
Okay, stay dry.
All right, thanks.
See.
That's Coach Ryan. Lee, he gets pretty excited to talk about his kids, doesn't he?
He does, and
I
he
like
should.
that. Yep, I like that.
He's absolutely stacked with talent.
He is.
That whole area up there, man. There's lots of kids up there that are just special athletes, good athletes, man.
Well, I was going to ask him, Lee, but we got up against the clock. But they've pretty much already locked up. Well, they have already locked up at 1 seed. Do you see them maybe? They got Midway and Oakdale, two teams. Be heavy favorites to win. I don't even think their starters get see the field much these next two games. Do you? I wouldn't.
Nah, not probably first quarter, maybe quarter and a half.
Yeah.
Build depth for next season.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I expect. So I don't think. Now he's got two kids that'll be heavy consideration. Well, three kids. That'll be heavy consideration. I think for that Mr. Football. But they've got the numbers already to support their claim for that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we could talk to him a bit of it off air, which, coaches, they typically don't like to talk down the road, talk about the game in front of them. But, man, I kind of fully expect Mike to see a Greenback South Pittsburgh matchup here in the playoffs. And that should be a really lights-out atmosphere ball game. If everything, injuries stay down.
Well, I'm going to
tell
you, I've already committed Thanksgiving weekend, if it happens, to Huntington and Lake County.
Yeah.
So you're welcome to ride over with me if you want to go to that.
That sounds good.
I'd love to see that one, but we've been east a lot.
Yeah.
We got a lot of our fan base over in the west that ain't happy. We haven't spent any time over there. So I made a promise to them guys on Coach T this week. If it's word Nissan lets me, I'll be over there Thanksgiving weekend to watch that game if that happens.
Right.
All right, Lee, let's take a break here, and we'll get Fairview head coach Chris Hughes on the phone. This is the Friday main event. I am Mike. He is Lee, and we'll be back after this. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you a minute about our title sponsor, CoachT.com. We appreciate Jim Thompson and all the guys over at Coach T joining up with us. We'll be partnered with them for the second consecutive year. So Friday main event, we're honored to be associated with such a great website. If you're into high school sports, whether you play, you have a child that plays, or just an ordinary fan, CoachT.com is a place you need to check out. And it's not just football. I mean, football is probably the biggest reason people visit CoachT.com. But if you have a kid into any other sport, softball, baseball, basketball, golf, soccer, if it's a high school sport, most likely you're going to find some information on CoachT.com. But what I want to talk to you about in particular is the Coach T Plus membership, which I happen to be a part of. Uh, for the second year in a row, the Coach T Plus membership will be donation based. So you decide what Coach T is worth to you. And that's what's so great about the website. You can make as much commitment to the website as you feel comfortable with. Now, myself, I'm on the website, multiple times a day, as a matter of fact. So, I feel like I owe it to the website and I owe it to Coach T to make a nice donation, and hopefully you guys will feel that commitment as well. We do want to keep the website running. Many of us get a lot of enjoyment out of the website, but the Plus membership, you get access to certain boards that you don't have as just a regular member of Coach T. So that's one reason to join the Plus membership. Another reason is you're kind of the captain of your team. You're in charge of the scheduling, or I should say the correction. If there's any corrections need to be made to the schedules, any corrections need to be made to the scores that are reported, you have the ability to do that. And that's what the Coach T Plus membership, it kind of provides you a certain degree of ownership into the website. So please check it out, man. It's on the front page. You go to the home page, again, CoachT.com. There's a tab right there where you can click and become a Coach T Plus member. And just because you are now, don't assume you are forever. That is a 1-year membership, so you need to double check, make sure your membership has not expired. Again, from the Friday Man event, we appreciate CoachT.com and hope you guys appreciate them as much as we do. All right, Lee, we are back. We've put a couple of stakes in our couple of stakes in our tent poles, because as you can see, this wind is getting crazy over here. I'm afraid it's going to blow us away, Lee. Yeah. Oh, man, you should see this, Coach. You wouldn't believe it. There was no wind when we set up. We've got Chris Hughes, Fairview's head coach, on with us. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Glad I'm not sitting there with y'all. I'm glad to talk to you on the phone.
What a guy.
Yeah.
What did he say he
Y'all
was
can have
doing, Lee?
Yeah.
He
That
said
guy
he's
said it.
locker room until 7:25,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
That's my kind of coach right there.
Hey, they don't want to go out in this. They want to do what they want to do. I help them mentally.
Well, hey, man, before we get started talking about your Yellow Jackets, man, how did your Mean Machine wind up doing this summer?
We ended up we got eliminated in the round of 16. So
Okay.
last year we made it to the final 8. We were 1 game short of that this year. Got beat by a team called Church's Money out of California in double overtime.
Wow.
So real good team, and it was a great game. We dug a hole for ourselves, had to kind of climb back, but we traveled to New York. We made around $18,000 as a team. So
There you go.
coming back next year and be better and stronger. I picked up a couple guys out of North Carolina, 1 out of Florida, and 2 out of Atlanta. So we're loading up for next year.
Well, being 52 years old, man, I'm amazed that you can still compete at that level. I know you're near my age, and I think I'd probably die of a heart attack if they asked me to run a 40 right now.
I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of it. I get no respect because they all say that if I didn't have all those other guys, I wouldn't be worth anything. That's all the teams we play talk bad to me, and I'm like, okay with that. Because when I win, I say, you just got beat by a guy that's 52 years old and not very athletic.
I love it.
Who should be upset? Not me.
There you go. I love it.
Well, Coach, you guys got a struggling Dixon County team coming over there tonight, and I think you've already secured another region title this year. Is this the point in the season where you see some of the younger kids getting more action and you get some nagging injuries healed up over the next few weeks?
We've got a couple guys that aren't going tonight, but we're anybody that can play, we're not holding out. I don't believe in doing that. So my theory is we just got to get ourselves better. And there's only one way to get better, and that's live bullets, get out there with the action. And so we'll play our guys as needed. But I will tell you this, a struggling Dixon 6A team who's been playing Ravenwood and Independence and Brentwood
right.
is not going to feel too intimidated getting off the bus and looking at the Fairview Yellow Jackets. So.
Well, Coach, you've got a legit Mr. Football candidate over there, Logan Nardozzi. I think he's already got 1,400 yards, 14 TDs. Talk a little bit about what Logan's meant to the program the last 4 years, and has he received any offers to play at the next level yet?
He hasn't received any official offers. He had an official visit to EKU 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
Eastern Kentucky, and he's had several others inquire. But he's only a junior, so
Oh, okay.
he
I'm sorry. For some
yeah.
reason, I was thinking he was a senior.
That's okay. It's because he's been here so long.
There you go.
Everybody tells me that about my kids because I play them young,
Yeah,
and
that's
then the
good.
coach would go, "I know he's been there 6 years," and I'm like, "No, he hasn't. Been here 4, been here 3." So,
Uh,
but he's been very valuable. He's explosive. He runs hard. He makes it really tough on it. If you get a hat on a hat, he finds a crease. He's the fastest through the hole. Like and when he breaks away, he can run too. But he really accelerates through the line of scrimmage to get to that next level. And it's been really good to have him step up as a junior, and then I expect next year to be even bigger for him.
Well, Coach, you got a couple of guys there that kind of complement Logan and Riley Bennett and Brody Cox.
Yeah, Brody is.
Speak a little
They're
bit about
both
those two
juniors.
guys.
Yeah, all juniors,
Right.
and so they're all coming back. And Riley plays a little quarterback too, and he plays a little slot receiver and does a lot of things. And they block for each other. Brody's a pound at fullback. Hey, the toughest 140-pound fullback you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Stoned and these big 270-pound guys, but he puts his whole body into it. And I tell you, I really like little guys that just have big hearts, and that's what Brody is. And he don't run around anybody. He tries to run over everybody. So I told him if he weighed 220, Nick Saban would be at my door every day right now. So and that's the case on a lot of kids on a lot of teams. But I love kids like Brody Cox and Riley Bennett and Logan and our guys have just all gelled together. We're coming together. That other region we got to go against is really loaded, and
yeah.
we're going to have an uphill battle. But that's where we take a 6A school like Dixon and we try to get ourselves better playing against some bigger guys. So.
Mike Mulder and Lee Teat talking to Fairview head coach Chris Hughes here on the Friday event. Coach, your senior quarterback, Anakin King, a kid we talked about with you back in the spring. He's having a great year. I think he's thrown for 930 yards. That's far under Brock Harris's production last year. Have you kind of scaled back the passing game this year, or was that more of a result, where, of course, you had Cam Harris-Lusk and with his
Yeah,
ability to get yards after the catch? Is that the difference we're seeing in the numbers?
no, not at all. It's he's had games where he's 15 for 21 for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns, and
Mm,
games that he's 2 for 3 for 1 touchdown and 48 yards.
okay.
Because week to week, with weather and with who we're playing, and a lot of the reason he doesn't have bigger numbers, and he's still got 13 touchdowns to 4 interceptions or something like that.
Right.
But a lot of the reason that he don't have bigger numbers is Logan Nardozzi's fault. So when Logan takes it the distance or runs it down, through there, it's real easy play calling for me just to hand the ball to Logan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we have a really good potent running game, so we're not having to lean as heavily on the pass. Those years you see those inflated numbers passing, you don't see a lot of 1,400-yard rushers on those teams.
Right.
Well, Coach,
Yeah.
you just mentioned three returning starters there that are juniors that are coming back on your offensive side, but you got three juniors, I think, on the defensive side coming back, and Joey Mathis, Bryce Fannin, and Logan Parsons, and they lead your team in tackles. Man, you got to be excited about that too.
Yeah, we returned 10 out of 11 on defense, and
Wow.
six of them are juniors.
Wow.
Six of them are juniors. We're starting a freshman on defense who's been really laying the wood on people, and we're real excited about our defense. And now, this will be a good test tonight in the rain because I expect to get a heavy dose of run game from some big guys, and
Yep.
it'll be able to see because we've grown up since the Waverly game, and the Waverly game we weren't physical like we should have been, and Coach Bolden did a good job, and they beat us, and it opened our eyes up, and we started practicing more physical and playing more physical, and those guys that you just mentioned are part of that equation, and I'm really excited. I've told everybody if you want to get us, you better get us this year because next year it's going to be tough. So.
Well, you kind of touched on this. Of course, we're talking to Coach Chris Hughes at Fairview. Coach, you kind of touched on this. We kind of look back over the history there. I think you got to go all the way back to 2015 to find your last region loss. You guys are winning region games this year by 28 points a game. And again, you mentioned this a little earlier. You got that tough Region 5 that you're going to have to go up against in the postseason. Do you think the fact that Region 6 is not really – outside of you guys that strong. Does that hurt you guys any when you get to postseason play, do you think?
It does if you don't schedule really good teams outside of that. And
Right.
I'll say that, and this is no slap to those guys because I'm going to tell you, Sycamore plays us as hard as anybody. So does Camden. So does all those teams.
Mm-hmm.
And those rivalry games, even though you think, the competition, not when it's a rivalry, it's like Vandy, Tennessee, and throw it out the window. It doesn't matter. Uh, but I will say you've got to schedule really good competition outside. Playing Page High School, playing Dixon High School, playing bigger schools. That's what gets us ready. And you only have 5 region games. Those other 5 games don't count except to make you better, and that's what we're trying to do by playing better teams. And Camden does the same thing. They're playing Huntington, they're playing Waverly, they're playing teams that give them games, and
Right.
and I think you'll see that the teams in the playoffs that do well, you can't go against Pearl Cone and Stratford and East Nashville without playing somebody to that caliber all year long.
Right.
Well, Coach, we already know you guys are going to face Giles County in the first round of the playoffs. And typically, most coaches toe the company line and say they're only worried about the next game. But, you know, if it was me, I would have probably already started looking a little bit at Giles
If you don't
County.
tell Coach O'Connor, I'll tell you we got every film on them all year long already.
Yeah.
So, but you
Well,
can't tell anybody. So,
well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think Coach O'Connor's already got your film?
well, not only do I think he's got it, but he's probably practicing tonight at midnight and going over stuff. So, Coach O'Connor, my record against him is like 1-87. So I'm not looking forward to seeing him again. But I won the last one. That's the only one that matters.
That's
And,
right. That's
now
right.
this year,
Only as good as
the
your
only one
last
that's gonna
game.
matter is this year. So
Oh man, that's great.
he's a good coach, and Giles is a good team, and they are battle tested. So
What?
just like they played Tullahoma last night.
That's what I. Hey, you was reading my mind. You didn't have anybody ease over there watching that game, did you?
If if
Oh,
I
you'll
didn't
never
have
admit it.
somebody over there, if now tell me the truth, if I didn't have somebody that game on my staff watching, would it not be malpractice for a coaching staff?
I
Absolutely.
one hundred
Okay,
thousand
people
percent
that
agree.
don't do that, don't have good
Yep,
programs.
that's right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Oh, there's
I
no
didn't know
doubt.
if
We were
you'd
getting.
admit it or not, but I figured you
Hey,
did.
not only was I was coaching JV at Creekwood and getting texts by the minute on what the score was and how they scored.
Yeah,
So it was going up. Now Tullahoma's a hammer team, and look, they played all those other teams in Region 5. So again,
yeah,
you ain't gonna look like much when
yeah,
Giles gets off the bus over here.
yeah,
So and they're gonna want it, and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be good. But yeah, we have time to get ready for that, especially since we've secured the region and first time in school history to win 4 regions in a row. If we can beat Stewart County, we'll be 20-0 in our region in the last 4 years. So
That's
That's
that
pretty
awesome.
will be
doggone good.
Yep, yep.
something to hang your hat on.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, I got John Olive's number. You want me to send it to you? Here, evidently, he had a pretty good game plan last night.
I don't need it. I got it. And did you not? Hey, you saw our emails today? Did you see our email? I'm just kidding. I hadn't talked to Coach Ollie, but don't think that I won't.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything I heard him that was having success with, I was thinking, yeah, but we can't do that. So it's kind of disheartening.
Well, I'll tell you, Kevin Creasy, man, and you know him very well, but he's one of the best I know of. And that guy, he'll take every darn advantage. I posted some video of Riverdale's scrimmage earlier this year, and he was scouting that video I had on that scrimmage. So
Yeah,
that's what the
yeah.
good coaches do, man. You use every edge you
Creasy
can.
don't have no life. He needs to get a life.
He
He really
does.
does.
He
He
does,
does. He
don't he?
does. I don't. I would hate to be married to him. I really would. No,
Uh,
but he does great. But you're right, and I know Kevin really well, and
yeah,
he does a great job. And
yeah, yeah.
he's one of the best coaches around. But I don't know if you give me Oakland's talent, I might win a few games.
That's
So,
That's
right.
true.
because
That's right.
no
Well,
slight at Kevin now. He won everywhere he's been. So
well, Coach, we won't hold you up, brother. I know you got a game to get ready for, but Lee and I appreciate you jumping on with us, man.
hey, listen to me. I want to tell everybody out there listening one thing. If you're listening, that's awesome. But if you are a true football fan, if you go sit in this weather tonight and watch your high school play, and if you don't, then you're not a true fan. So go out and support your local team.
That's right.
That's correct.
Absolutely. Well said.
You guys are loyal fans out there tonight.
Well, you enjoy your locker room there for another hour and a half, buddy. We'll be out here
Hey,
in the
stay
rain.
wet, guys. Stay wet.
We'll see you,
See you,
Coach.
Coach.
We'll see you.
Sorry, rascal.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's rubbing in a little bit, wasn't he?
Well, I mean, if I had the option to be sitting in there till 7:25,
Well, you did. If I wasn't so darn pig-headed,
probably
that's
do
what
it
you
too.
that's what you wanted to do.
oh, he'll be out in it.
I was a little hard-headed about it. So,
That's pretty interesting. Him talking about them staying in the dry till the last possible
Yeah,
second, so he can
absolutely.
get a series or two
Not-
where they don't weigh 25 pounds extra with
That's-
water in their pads.
That's right. That's right.
That's
smart.
thinking.
That's
He's
smart.
thinking.
Yep. He's a good coach,
Yes,
man.
he
I
is.
mean,
He's kind of out of the box on some stuff. That's what I
yeah,
like about him. He
yeah.
looks at things a little bit different, and that's what, and it's obviously he mentioned it. 20 straight region wins.
Well, he's the main reason why that flag football team's going to the darn finals every year too, man. He's been doing that stuff since he was in college
That's right.
over at MTSU,
That's right.
and I mean, I'm sure he's calling all the plays for that. And I know that's a totally different subject, but it kind of gives you his mindset.
Correct.
He's a winner.
Yep.
All right, Lee. Well, let's take a quick break here, and we'll call our buddy Randall Bolden over at Waverly, get him on the line. Again, this is the Friday main event, and we will be back after this. Hey, folks, I want to tell you about a new sponsor who joined us this season, Elaborate Images. Marcia and her husband, Sheldon, they've been in business since 2007. They've got thousands of customers across Middle Tennessee now. They are located right here in Unionville, close to where I live, actually. But Marcia does a phenomenal job. Everything we've got from them, hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts. They even designed the banner we use now. I mean, they do excellent work. It's top quality work. All the merchandise that they use is top notch. You're not going to get the cheap stuff you get at a lot of the online websites I used to use. So I'd strongly suggest you check out Elaborate Images, and again, go to elaborateimages.com. Ask for Marcia. They've got a phone number contact there. Matter of fact, I'll give you that number now. 931-703-5410 is how you can get in touch with her if you don't want to go online. Again, 931-703-5410. That's Elaborate Images. They've got all the Friday main event apparel already set up, and you can tell her what you want from us. Or if you just want to go out on your own and get something designed for your business, I mean, they're great. We've been using them for a couple of years now. She decided to be a sponsor of the Friday main event this year, and we're very grateful to have them on board. So check them out, elaborateimages.com. All right, Lee Teat, we are back. Friday main event in the rain.
I switched headgear on
He's
you.
done brought the toboggan out. The ear's getting cold, buddy.
No, just dry. This is dry.
This is dry. I hear you, man. It's a good night for football. I mean, this is the diehards come out tonight.
That's right.
The people that really love it come out tonight, and people that really love it. We're talking to a guy that really loves it. And of course, we're talking about Waverly head coach Randall Bolden. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, guys. How are y'all?
I'm doing good, Coach. We hadn't had a chance to speak with you since that title game last year. I know you graduated from Waverly, I think, back in 2004. Now you're back home leading that program you grew up with. Were you surprised that job came open last year?
I was. Coach McConnell here did a really good job for the amount of time that he was here, and wasn't expecting to make a move by any stretch of the imagination, but it came open, and there were some things going on with some illnesses in the family, and it just felt right to come back home.
Right.
Coach, how hard was it to leave that Whitwell program where you had a ton of success, to travel across the state and take over a program that I'm sure has changed a lot since you left there?
Oh, it has. It was a very difficult decision. It was one that we thought about, my family talked about and prayed about. But at the end of the day, the guys that are in charge here as far as the school and the superintendent are guys that coached me growing up. So it was a way for me also to kind of get back home and give back to the community that helped raise me.
Right.
Well, Coach, I when I contacted you this week, you kind of give me a little bit of the lowdown there. I know you mentioned you guys lost a starting receiver before game one. You've had a lot of key injuries. I think you had your starting QB. I assume that was Aiden Brooks. Went out, I think you said in the second quarter of the first game. Definitely not the what you envisioned heading into this season. How well have you guys recovered from that?
Hey, we're getting there. This has been a year unlike anything that I've ever had as far as the injuries and everything to the obstacles.
Right.
I felt like we were getting on a good little roll. Our quarterback was a sophomore, had a bright future ahead of him. He was really grasping the concepts of what we were wanting to do. And, of course, he goes out, the second quarter of the first game. So you throw everything you worked with all summer away, and you refocus that elsewhere. And then obviously one of our better receivers was also injured, and will miss the entire season. So it's just been injury after injury that we're kind of dealing with. And seems like every time you take 2 steps forward, 1 step back is what I kind of feel like this season's been so far. But our
Right.
kids are still battling. They're a hard nosed group. They're not going to give up. So they're gonna go to war every Friday night with whoever steps out in front of them.
Well, Coach, you've won 5 of your last 6 there after a couple of opening losses. Uh, are you pretty happy with how the team's playing right now?
Yes, I am. We had a really good win last week against an undefeated team that had a lot of confidence, and we're living proof that a confident ball team's hard to beat regardless.
Right.
So we had a good win last week, and the kids are starting to grasp and understand what we need to do as far as no stupid penalties and stay in front of the chains. And so I'm happy where we're at. We had a really good week of practice. We're trying to gear up to hopefully have a shot at the region title next week and start playoffs.
Well, Coach, you've got an explosive offense coming in there tonight, led by sophomore Ty Simpson. I know he's already got several big time offers. First of all, how did he look on film? And secondly, how fired up is this squad of yours to go up against their former head coach?
They're excited. They're excited because it's game day. Now, I understand. Like I talked to them, and I'm sure that I know there's some personal connections there. But as far as Ty Simpson, the kid's electric. For him to be a sophomore to make some of the plays he makes is very very impressive. One of the most impressive quarterbacks that I've seen on film, considering he's just a sophomore. So we've definitely got to do a good job and not let him create plays outside the pocket. Um, but yeah, it's a big game. It's a big game. It's more so a big game for people that are not directly connected to the program necessarily than us, but
Right.
a big game nonetheless.
Well, Coach, you've got a familiar name at Waverly fans are very familiar with anyway. Leading your team behind center, I assume Graham Stanfield is the younger brother of Gavin. He experienced a lot of success there at Waverly. How well has Graham performed this year, and have you heard any comparisons between him and Gavin?
Well, actually, Graham is Gavin's cousin.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Well,
yeah,
like I say, I was making some assumptions.
yeah, we have another Stanfield on our team that's Gavin's brother. He plays receiver for
Oh,
us.
okay.
But no, Graham was actually came into the season as a slot receiver slash running back.
Okay.
So he just kind of got through into the quarterback position because he was the best available to lead this football team.
Hmm.
But also the kid's gritty. He is gritty. He just wants to get the job done, and he's doing everything that we can possibly ask of him.
Great.
Well, Coach, a couple other kids, that are having some pretty good years, a pretty good year for you are seniors Octavian Stewart and Trenton Ingram. Talk a little bit about those kids.
Both very hard workers. Two different style of running backs. We try to get Doc Octavian. We try to move him around. We'll throw him the ball. We'll hand it to him. We'll let him take some direct snaps. He's just a all-purpose type of athlete. And Trenton's a grinded out kid. He likes to get downhill, make people miss, and keep going north and south. So between him, Octavian, and Graham, made me
Right.
say Gavin. Wish I had and Graham, between those three kids, we just tried to, keep the defenses guessing, and we have faith in all three of those guys. They can get the job done when their number's called.
Mike Molden and Lee Teat joined by phone with Waverly head coach Randall Bolden. Coach, obviously a lot of skill positions graduated off last year's team. I think, a lot of people thought you guys might struggle, but you played to your strength. I know you said up front you got Grady and Hensley, Andrew Rumsey, and then, of course, Brian Teft. Three guys returning from last year. And I know you told me when you lost a quarterback and a couple of key receivers, you kind of shifted your offensive mindset to utilizing the strength of that line. How have those guys played for you so far?
They played really, really good. Like I said, we had a lot of penalties, uncharacteristic penalties, any team I've ever been a part of early in the season.
Right.
Uh, just stupid stuff that we got corrected in practice. But those we go as they go, and they're well aware of that. And we're going to try to stay behind them and try to play our ball game and just take care of the football. That's the biggest thing with us and this type of offense is you just got to take care of the football and get me 4 or 5 yards every play.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach, I got a question for you. Kind of, I guess it not off the subject, but uh, the numbers that you're working with there, how are they compared to the numbers that you had at Whitwell? You got several more kids down there, don't you?
Yes. In 2017, we actually had the biggest class Whitwood ever had as far as field wise. I think we had 50, 57, 58 kids.
Right.
And then, of course, last year we only had 34 kids.
Right.
Here in Waverly this year, we're the numbers are actually up compared to what they've been the last couple of years. We got roughly around 60.
Okay.
So yeah, the numbers are up. We got a lot of new kids that haven't really played football, but they're athletic, and heck, they've came on and helped us this year. But we've had to have those kids because losing some early in the season, you lost offensive and defensive players because we are a 2A ball school. Um, so you're trying to get kids out here, trying to teach them the game and how they can help you.
Well, the reason I was asking that, coach, is most of the good coaches do a good job walking the halls.
Oh yeah.
And recruiting a kid maybe like you said that hadn't played football before to come out and to compete. So that's kind of where that question was going. That's what I was after. So
Yeah, absolutely. We got a kid that never played football before, but he's an athlete and he'll start receiver for us.
there you go.
Awesome.
So we're just getting him where we can get and take him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, you mentioned a little bit earlier about that huge win you guys had over a previously undefeated Houston County team last week. Obviously, that's a big win for you personally and a big win for the program. A lot of folks, like I said earlier, thought Waverly, after graduating so many kids, would be down this year. But here you are heading into next week, a win over Riverside, and you capture that region title. Have you gotten a lot of support from the community and of course, the school?
Yes, absolutely. Now, understand, the expectations are high here,
Right.
which is a good thing. I love that. I embrace that. We want that. This isn't the type of football team that's been here the last couple of years. We're completely different. A lot of different names, a lot of different faces. So
Mm-hmm.
our kids have had to embrace that and kind of run with that. But yes, real big win last week. A lot of support. I wasn't happy how we finished that game last week. I still haven't felt like we put a complete ball game together yet. But we're getting there. We're making progress. And like I said, the biggest thing is staying in front of the chains.
We're talking to Waverly football head coach Randall Bolden here on the Friday Main Event.
Well, Coach Bolden, over here when we look at the west side of the bracket as you're heading into the postseason, we think Peabody has got to be one of the most dominating teams we've seen in a 2A level. Um, how do you feel about that, Coach? How do you feel about that Peabody team? You think they're a pretty dominating team, or how they compare to some of the best teams you've seen?
I haven't really got the chance to look at them a whole lot. I saw them in the spring. I saw some film on them in the spring, and they looked really, really good. Looked like they had a good quarterback, good skilled kids, and really good up front. So they're definitely going to be the team that got the bullseye on their back come playoff time, no doubt about it.
Right.
Well, getting a little closer to home, obviously you guys are going to be matched up with Region 5. This region is just so wide open. Man, there's not a single spot in that region that's been decided yet. Forest and Lewis County will be playing for the region title next week. Have you, again, I'm not asking you to look ahead, but do you know anything about any of those teams over in Region 5 yet?
Well, I know Coach Sharp is still coaching. He was coaching when I was in school.
Yep, that's right.
Uh, so, so I mean, he's been there a long time.
Right.
He's got a really good program. Don't know a lot about Forest. We actually played Summertown at Whitwell back in 2016. I know that program was starting to make the turn around the corner. So
Right.
I know it sounds like it's a pretty neck and neck region. So
It
I'm
is.
sure whoever comes out of there is going to be battle tested, no doubt.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, Coach, I know you got stuff you got to get done over there. You got a game tonight to get ready for, but Lee and I appreciate you taking time to jump on with us.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Coach. Good
Thanks,
luck to you,
Coach,
buddy.
man. Appreciate you.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
you,
Take
buddy.
care.
All right, Lee. Coach Randall Bolden, man. I really enjoyed interviewing him up in Cookville last year.
He does a good job.
Remember, we actually, I'm sure you remember, we went over there for a three-way.
That's right.
We went to their field.
Greenback, Moore County, and
That's right.
Whitwell.
Whitwell, exactly.
At Whitwell.
At Whitwell, and he invited us over there,
That's
and we went and took it in. We had Greg Ryan on earlier, ironically, who was also at that
That's
scrimmage.
correct.
But yeah, Coach Bolden's a good dude, man, and we appreciate him taking the time to jump on with us.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll just straight up say it. I'm surprised. I thought
They've done as
Waverly
well.
was going to be in a little bit of trouble this year
Yeah.
because they graduated, like you said, they graduated so much. But he said he's up in numbers. He walked the halls, and man, they're playing. They're right where they need to be going into this Riverside game.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I thought they would struggle too. I had some people that was criticizing us pretty hard. I don't think we had them in our preseason top 10 because they were losing, Stanfield and all those gifted players that they had last year. So
And a
we thought,
coaching change.
and a coaching change. Well, I wasn't as much worried about that as I was about all the talent he lost.
Well, I didn't know how, because
he
each
would
coach,
jail.
yeah, each coach has a different philosophy or something a little bit different. Sometimes it's not the coach, it's the kids trying to get used to that.
Right, that's
So
true.
that's kind of where I thought, man, he might have a 1 year where he's got to get everything in place. Them kids get used to him, but man, they just kept right
and then
on
they
trucking.
lost the starting quarterback first game.
Unbelievable.
So,
So Coach Bowden, kudos, buddy.
good job. Yep, absolutely. All right, Lee. I'm going to go ahead and tell our listeners that there's a possibility this show's a little shorter than we normally have one. Again, we're waiting on Coach Woods to get here. He should be here, I'd say, in another half hour or so. But, Lee, we'll talk about big games. I'm going to play these schedules to show the folks what the schedules of the teams we've had on so far. And we'll come back and we'll go right into our big games, which there's not that many tonight. All right, this is the Greenback schedule right here. All right, Lee, we are back, man. I was going to try to give them a little shot of what we're seeing out here. We got our secondary camera set up. Lee, of course, I don't want to sit out there in the rain, but we'll see. That's out the back side here. You can't tell a whole lot, obviously, but you can see the rain on the pole there. It's pretty wet, and the wind's been up, so it could have been a lot worse, man. We're not as bad a shape as what I thought we might be, so. We're making it, ain't we?
We're making it.
All right, Lee. We like I said, a lot of the games we had slated to discuss tonight in our Super 25, and I'm sure the folks that go to FridayMainEvent.com each week to see the games we'll discuss were surprised to see how many of our games that we had scheduled for today that got moved. Smyrna and Laverne was one of the games that got moved, Lee. Ironically, every game that got moved, I had the right team pick. You believe that?
That's how it works, man. That's our season. That's our
hindsight
whole
is
season.
2020.
Yeah, that's how it works, man.
But Smyrna won that game 33-14 last night. Matt Williams' team moves to 5-4, 4-1, and that's setting up that big Stewart's Creek matchup you were talking about, Lee.
Yep.
So I think that'll be for second place there in Region 5. But that was one of many games that got moved to last night. Lebanon and Wilson Central. Wilson Central with a huge win last night, Lee, 23-22 over your buddy Chuck.
Came back late.
And that really kind of, I've got the playoff projections, and we may go ahead and kind of discuss some of them as we get to them. We just mentioned that Smyrna situation. The way we've got that laid out right now, of course, they're in that quad 3. Cane Ridge, the team tonight, we'll see, Lee. They'll play Franklin. Franklin travels to Cane Ridge in week 1. That game's already set. Now, Smyrna tonight, depending on the winner of that Stewart's Creek Smyrna game, the winner will host the loser between Ravenwood and Independence. So that's a little added incentive, I think, to be home against a good opponent. What it amounts to, though, is these two teams are going to match up against those two teams, whether it's home or away.
Yeah, irregardless.
Irregardless, because and the reason why I say that, the Ravenwood Independence winner next week will host the loser of the Smyrna Stewart's Creek game.
That's correct.
So that's the layout of that quad 3 there in 6A. And then, of course, the fourth game is already set. Brentwood has already won Region 6. They'll play Laverne, who's going to finish as the 4th seed. So, again, as we cover the big games, we'll kind of flip back and forth and kind of give the listeners what's going to happen as far as the playoffs go. A big game tonight, Lee, Milan and Hardin County. Hardin County sitting now at 7-1. 4-0 in region play. Of course, this is not a region game. This is a Region 6 versus a Region 7. I'm sorry, I didn't specify that.
Region 6-4 versus a Region 7-3, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I'll get it right here in a minute. But yeah, what I'm getting at is Hardin County having a really good year. Matthew Smith there at Hardin County, they host Milan. Milan is 4-4, 2-2 in region play. Of course, they're coming off a very narrow loss to McNairy Central last week. They beat Covington, if you'll remember. They beat Bolivar, they beat Lexington and Liberty, but their losses are to Huntington, South Gibson, and Peabody. 3 pretty darn good teams.
That's correct. And let's see, Hardin County, they're only lost to McNairy, correct?
That's correct.
And McNairy beat Hardin County by a larger margin. 14 and then Milan 3 last week.
Yep.
I think Teddy Pettigrew's team is playing better right now. Buddy. I'm gonna go Milan.
You gonna go Milan?
Yes, sir.
I think I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna go Hardin County.
Are you?
Yeah, and we can go ahead while we got these teams up here. We'll look at their playoff situations, Lee. We'll kind of, like I say, we'll kind of cover that as we go. If you look at Milan right now as it stands, get the right one up, Lee. Where's it at? There it is. Oh, that region's wide open. That's why I've got it so crazy now. South Gibson has secured the 1.
That's correct.
But now, if you look at the second, third, and fourth spot, there's still 4 teams.
4 teams competing
that could finish
for
as
3.
high as second. Yeah.
Competing for 3 spots in all 3 spots.
Yes. And you're looking at McNairy Central, Covington, Milan, and Westview. Now, those 4 teams will make up that the second, third, fourth spot. You got Westview and Milan. They also have non-region losses, Lee, and that may wind up being a problem.
Well, that's why I'm saying tonight maybe Milan has got a little more on the line.
Well, they do, but I mean they're already at 4-4, Lee. I think they're going to lose out on any, even if they win tonight. I think they're still going to lose out on any tiebreakers as far as the overall record goes. McNairy whooped Lexington easily last night. That sets up an interesting game between them and Covington next Friday. That'll be a good one to.
So you think Milan's going to be the 4? Just out of curiosity, I think there's.
That would be my hunch, but I mean Covington would have to beat obviously McNairy for that to happen because Covington lost to Milan heads up.
That's true.
It's going to get crazy, man. I can't even really guess how this region is going to play out. It's so wide open. I mean, you got 4 teams, tied with 2 losses right now. So that region is going to get crazy. And then what was the other team we was looking at? Hardin County, and that's in 4. So if we look at Class 4A and Hardin County, they have. I think they've already locked up the top seed in that Region 6.
That's correct.
Now Lexington will be your 2 seed, and then your 3 seed would be the North Side South Side winner, and your 4 seed would be the Jackson North Side South Side loser. So Hardin County, we already know, is going to be playing Portland. At least that's the way I think it's going to play out in week 1 of the playoffs. And then Montgomery Central will be playing, again, that North Side South Side loser, as Montgomery Central's already won Region 5.
That's right.
So, man, it's really, really crazy. The number of games that already been decided. We still got 2 games left to play, and at least probably 70% of the playoffs have already been decided.
Think so?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I've got them all listed here, and we'll get more in depth.
We know the 70% of the ones anyway, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So you're
I
going to
may
go
be
Hardin
going about
County?
this the wrong way, Lee. Should we just discuss the games first and then go back to the brackets? It's going to get confusing flipping back and forth, isn't it?
Maybe. You,
Maybe.
you you like Hardin County in
I
this one?
like Hardin County in this game.
With the spread in the rain?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I like. What do you like? You like Milan,
Yeah,
didn't
I'm going Milan. I
you? Okay.
think Teddy Pettigrew keeps it on the ground.
Okay. I can see that. I'm not real strong either way on it. Creekwood and Portland, Lee. I think Houston Thiel's team. Thiel, or I always say it wrong. Thiel. I thought it was. I always say his name wrong. We hadn't had him on yet this year either, have we?
Nope.
Give him a call.
That's right.
Big game for the Redhawks tonight. They travel to Portland. Portland is sitting now at 4-5, 3-2 in region play. Of course, Creekwood is 7-1, 3-1 in region play. They beat White House last week, 35-28, and Portland. I think they played Springfield. Did they not, Lee? Yeah.
Yep.
They lost to Springfield, 27-12. What's your thoughts on this game?
Creekwood.
Creekwood, I think so too.
I do, because they like to run the ball. They run the spread option, but they're got good tailbacks. And we talked to Coach Steele last year, and he talked about being physical. And typically in this kind of weather and these kind of games, man, that's where you win it in the trench. Keep turnovers to a minimum, keep the ball off the ground. But Portland runs a wing tee too, man.
Yeah, and that may be an advantage tonight, keeping the ball on the ground, no doubt. Their only loss was a 2 overtime loss at Montgomery Central.
Who's a region title?
Yeah.
Who's we just said locked up the region.
Yeah, already locked the region up. So that, this is a really good Creekwood team.
That's right. Red Hawks.
I'm gonna go with them also, Lee. Nolensville, 4A undefeated Nolensville Knights travel to Franklin. Donnie Webb's team, since inserting Josh Nichols in at quarterback, playing much better. They did take one on the chin last week against Brentwood, but everybody's played Brentwood other than Henry County's taking one on the chin this year. This may wind up being a pretty darn good game here. What do you think about this game?
I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be a close game.
And this may go back to what you were saying about throwing the ball around. Nolensville loves to sling it around, and with these conditions, it may handicap them a little bit tonight.
Yeah, do they do something? Does Coach Derrick do something different to get Koutras involved?
I would definitely be trying to get the ball in his hand. He's explosive when he gets the ball.
Running some jet stuff, or I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I like Nolensville, but I like it in a squeaker. I could see this 1-2 points.
Yeah, I really struggle with this one, to be honest with you. Franklin's got wins over Centennial, McGavick, Siegel. They only lost to Indian overtime. Of course, they lost to Summit and Ravenwood and Riverdale.
But that was prior to Nichols.
That was prior to Nichols coming.
When Nichols come back is when they went to Indy and went into OT, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Daggone, Mike.
Yep.
Who you going with?
I don't know, man. That's what I say, man. I probably struggle with this game as much as any. I'm seriously leaning toward Franklin, to be honest with you. And I got multiple reasons for that, Lee. You got to understand, Nolensville's playing for a region title next week against Marshall County.
Do they rest?
This game doesn't really mean a whole lot.
That's true. That's true.
But you got an opportunity to go have an undefeated season. How often does that happen?
I mean, I know a lot of coaches, if they were playing anybody but Franklin, he'd probably sit some guys.
Yeah.
But he's also trying to protect, like you said, that undefeated record.
Yeah, I mean, how often you get a shot to do that?
That's correct. Ugh. I don't know, man. I'm gonna stay with the Knights, but I'm gonna stay. It's gonna be close, buddy.
I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go Franklin. I think they got more depth. They got a bigger roster, I would assume, with the 6A team. And I think if it doesn't start out going his way, if it's me, I'm going to keep my players, I'm going to keep them safe this week.
Think Coach Derrick gets down a couple, he's pulling his guys?
I could see it. I mean, I don't know that he will, but I could see it given the situation for next week. All right, so we'll split that one.
Yes, sir.
Columbia and Stratford, Lee. And I love Stratford, and I love James Moore, man.
We've been on him, buddy.
I said that I wasn't going to reveal any of our Mr. Football picks, but I'll go ahead and tell you folks he was on our ballot. How could he not be?
Absolutely.
He had 239 yards and a state record 56 carries against East Nashville in that 14-7 win last week. This kid is a real deal, man. It's just all you can say about it.
Yes, sir.
Who you like in this game?
I like Stratford.
Like Stratford?
Yeah, man. Like you said, James Moore really, and I'm not taking anything away from some of these other kids on that team because it takes everybody to get him those yards.
Yeah.
It does take an offensive line, everybody blocking, wide receivers blocking to get those yards. He's a special talent.
Yeah.
But James Moore basically put Stratford on his back last year in the playoffs.
Right.
And he's not let up.
Well, Lee, look at his numbers. You know, last year he had 2,200 yards, rushing 25 TDs. Now, going into this season, every darn coach they went up against, what's priority one?
Stopping Moore.
Stop James Moore.
It still has what?
1,530 yards rushing and 20 TDs in only 8 games. And you know every coach coming into that game against Stratford, they're going to shut down James Moore, and they can't do it. So that, to me, that makes what he's been able to do even more impressive.
Well, and like you said, too, last week against East Nashville, which is a tough squad.
Yes.
They only lost to Pearl Cone. 50-something carries.
Yeah.
Man, he's a horse, dude.
He's a horse.
I'm going Stratford.
I'm going Stratford, too, but I wonder if he gets spelled a little bit this
I
week,
think
considering
so.
it's not a region game.
Yeah.
After that many carries last week.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm going with the Spartans. Eagleville and Mount Pleasant, this is a really big game right here.
Yes, it is.
Because both of these teams are in regions in which overall records may factor in here, as it's kind of similar to the situation we mentioned with Region 7 in 3A. No spots have really been decided in Mount Pleasant's region in particular.
Man.
Huntland winning last night, man, that just flipped that region on its edge, you know.
It sure did. We were talking about that, which I'm going to stay on track here, but that Region 5 1A is wild.
Yeah.
One more loss, and you could go from second to not even in the playoffs.
That's right. And that's where Huntland's at now.
That's crazy, man.
Richland just, and we kind of thought Richland was going to show
Yes.
some progress this year, and they have. They've done a great job with the win over Moore County. Nobody saw that coming last night. So that's put Moore County in a must-win situation along with Mount Pleasant next week. Whoever loses that game is out next week. Now, Richland, if they were to pull that upset over Huntland we just talked about, they'll knock Huntland out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy, man. It's real crazy. But getting back to this game, Lee, who do you like in this one?
Keyshawn Hudson's back healthy.
He is.
Man. I don't know, buddy.
It's at Mount Pleasant.
I know. Is this a must-win?
No, it's not a must-win for either one of them.
Even with the tiebreakers?
Well, I mean, it may wind up being with the tiebreakers.
I'm talking about for Mount Pleasant here.
No, I don't think so. I think if they beat Moore County next week, they're in. I believe.
Irregardless.
That's assuming Huntland wins, because it would come to, if it came down to them at 3 losses and Richland at 3 losses, they got Richland heads up. Of course, Moore County would have the 4th loss. So yeah, this game doesn't mean anything, assuming Huntland takes care of business.
Yeah, I'm going Eagle.
I'm gonna go Eagle too for the same reason, Lee.
Sorry, can I get a drink?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
All right, the next game we had planned to talk about is Shelbyville and Franklin County. Of course, they played that game last night.
Right.
Coach Palmer's team just keeps on keeping on.
Trucking right along, brother.
43-14 was the winning margin in that game. His team looks really, really good. Man, they're going to be. I think they're going to compete with that Region 6, Gallatin and Beach. I think they're going to play with them this year.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I think so too.
And they're pretty much locked in at second place, barring any kind. I'm gonna get a drink too, Lee. So yeah. What do you think?
Absolutely, I think they're going to be competitive going into the playoffs, and reason being is, uh, we both like Cade.
Right.
He's grown up a lot this year from start of the season till now. You can see his progression.
Right.
But a big part of that too that I like is Caleb Marsh. I think you got to have that guy in the playoffs, and they're good up front. Everybody we've talked to has been impressed with how good they are up front.
Yeah,
And
they're bigger than most teams.
that's right. So I'm gonna stay with them. Chuck.
What the heck was that?
They're out here kicking balls or something.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean I'm gonna stay with them in the playoffs. I like them.
well, I like them too, Lee. I'm gonna get a shot of the outside here so it to rain. Looks like I think we may have that pole in the shot. Turn that camera away from that pole there if you can. Yeah, it's raining, folks, big time. That's what we got over here.
Yeah,
They're out there, and that kind of goes against what Coach Hughes is saying, man, having the kids out here in the rain already.
Yeah, it's pretty wet.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Of course, that's probably just the kickers out there, but I don't know if I'd want the kids out there getting wet this early. But I'm not a head football coach. Don't claim to be. All right, Lee. Next game on the docket is Clay County and Monterey. This is a Region 4 matchup for the region title. Big game for these two teams right here. Jake Johnson's done a really good job in his first year there at Clay County. Well, I think he actually had some interim games last year,
He
did he
did.
not, when Matthew Bates left. So,
Yes, sir.
but this is his first full-time job at Clay County. Bulldogs are playing good, 6-2 overall, 3-0 in region play. Monterey still undefeated. Scott Hughes' squad 8-0. Lee, they're coming off a bye week. Beat Bledsoe County at a game I thought they would lose.
That's right. So did I.
Yeah, we both picked. I think our buddy, we talked our buddy Drunken Sailor into picking that too, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Well, he said we did, but he come in. He was planning on picking Bledsoe already. Remember, he showed us his paperwork. So
I'm gonna go with Monterey. I think they're rolling right now, Mike. And you know what's the most impressive part of that? One returning starter on each side of the ball in a 1A school.
well, sometimes that's a good thing, you know. You got a good class coming in that maybe didn't get a lot of playing time or didn't get a lot of starting time last year, but they had a lot of talent. So that probably opened the door for them right there. And then the flip side of that, Clay County's got 16 kids back, 8 on each side of the ball. And,
The Ashlock kid up there at Clay County, he's an athlete, but he's pretty good. Jake Ashlock.
Uh-huh.
He's legit. But I like Monterey at home.
You like Monterey at home.
On the mountain.
Oh, see, they had a narrow loss to Sparta last week. Sparta is much improved. They beat Pickett County. They beat Gordonsville. They beat Cumberland County. They beat Joe Burns. They lost to Westmoreland. I think I'm going to go Wheatley. I think I'm going to go Monterey. I think it's going to be a close game, though.
Yep, Monterey at home.
Yep, I'm going to go with Monterey. This game here, the next game we'll talk about is Westview at Waverly. We just talked to Coach Bolden a little earlier. His Tigers are playing much better now, Lee.
They are, and they beat an undefeated Houston County team.
Yep.
Which Houston County not typically considered a powerhouse program.
I think you picked Houston County.
I
didn't
did because I thought, like he said, they were a very confident team, undefeated. I thought they were, I thought that might continue to roll, but hey,
you? I think I picked Waverly, didn't
you
I?
did got me. So I'm gonna go Waverly tonight at home.
You ain't gonna let them get you again, huh?
Well, I just don't think it's. To be quite honest with you, I don't think the weather favors Westview at all.
Yeah, it doesn't favor a passing team, does it?
No.
And again, Westview runs that spread with Ty Simpson.
And Waverly, we just got through talking about how good they are up front, and Coach Bowden's kind of took it back to the run game. So I suspect tonight that'll be a quick game. It'll be over fast. Clock will stay running. He'll hold on to the football and get out of there 21-7.
I'm going to go Westview, and I got a little bit different line of thinking as to why I'm going that direction. Matt McConnell knows Randall Bolden's team. He coached him last year. Randall Bolden doesn't know Matt McConnell's team. So I think that might give him a slight edge, knowing every kid on that Waverly team. He's going to know their strengths and weaknesses up. So I think for that reason, I'm going to go Westview.
I think Waverly big.
Waverly big.
14 or better.
14 or better. I love it when you say that.
Yeah, because it usually
you know
backfires.
you know why I said that, don't you?
Hey, hero or zero.
Hey, there you go. I hear you, Lee. I'm sorry. I'm trying to switch our camera back. I'm sorry our lighting is so bad. We just we were trying to stay dry. Which
Is Coach coming over here at
the
5:30?
lighting's actually better now, Lee. Look at there.
Yeah.
I guess because it's getting dark outside.
Is Coach coming? What time?
5. He should be here any time. I guess we need to keep an eye on him because he ain't gonna know how to get in this little hole we got dug in here. So
I might text him or something.
yeah, I'll do that. Well, he knows where to come. I texted him earlier. He knows where to come. He'll break in on us, I'm sure. We love Coach Woods. He's a good dude. All right, Lee. Next game, and we split on that one, right?
Yes, sir.
Next game we were going to talk about was Anderson County and East Hamilton. Anderson County won the region last night.
That's correct.
29-14 over our buddy Grant Reynolds there.
That's right.
Anderson County stout this year, man. Very stout. I think that's going to be an interesting second-round game as Anderson County gets Greenville in the second round. Normally that's a quarterfinal game. But, Greenville got beat by Elizabethton. Right. So now Greenville is in the same position Elizabethton is every year. They have to go through Anderson County and Elizabethton to get back to Cookville.
That's right.
That'll be interesting. Houston County and Stewart County. Lee 7-1. Houston County travels 6-2. Stewart County. This is a 2A versus a 3A matchup in Region 6. What's your thoughts?
I'm gonna go Houston County on the road.
Houston County on the road.
Lost by 7 last week to Waverly, which
Yes.
I picked Houston County.
Yeah, and they shut West Carroll out. Beat Riverside. I think I'm going to flip on this one because I like the fact that Stewart County beat a really good McKenzie team. I think it has a big win for them. So I'm going to go Stewart County at home. I don't really know a whole lot about either one of them teams, to be completely honest with you.
This one right here is one giving me trouble.
Yeah, this is a tough game to pick here. Pearl Cone is having a phenomenal season. They go on the road to Independence Lee. And Pearl Cone's still undefeated. They've played a brutal schedule, man. They beat East Nashville, they beat Hillsboro, Maplewood, Stratford. They beat NBA, and they beat Cane Ridge. So they're tested.
Yeah, very tested.
They're very tested. And then you got Independence on the flip side. They've got some signature wins, too. They beat Hendersonville, Dixon County, Franklin. They beat Blackman. They beat Centennial, and they beat CPA.
Right.
So, both of these teams have got pretty good resumes heading into this one.
I've been Pearl Cone all year. I'm gonna stay there.
Staying with the Firebirds. I think I'm gonna stay with them as well, Lee. Man, they got a load of talent, and
Well, the thing that I like about them tonight is they got 2 tailbacks.
they're gonna need to be able to run the ball, right?
That's right.
And Martino Owens, the junior quarterback, has played really well for them this year. I think he's been the difference for them this year. But, the flip side of that, you got Ethan Cash, who's a very mobile quarterback.
That's correct.
And he's very capable of running the ball. And he's playing well. Man, I don't really know which way to go on this one, Lee. I guess I'll go with you. I'll go Pearl Cove. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Independence won that game. Bradley Central and Saudi Daisy was a game we were going to discuss. Bradley Central won that game. That's all we need to say about that. McNary Central and Lexington. McNary big 48-13 last night.
Yep.
They're 7-2, 2-2 in region play. In that region 7, we already talked quite a bit about. That's a tough region, man.
Yes, it is.
And they just mopped Lexington last night. So tough. Well, a lot of these games were last night. We had scheduled Lee, Cornsville, Hunting. We kind of touched on that one.
That was a little bit of a shocker to me.
That was a big shocker to me.
The score, especially.
35-7, Huntland Hornets.
Yep.
Bob Robertson had them boys ready to play last night. Gerard Randolph, I thought they were going to secure that second seed last night behind Fayetteville. Of course, they had different plans. They still could get that second seed if Richland is able to upset Huntland next
Right.
week.
That's right.
I don't think that's going to happen. Huntland has played; they're 3-1 at home this year. They played really good at home.
Mm-hmm.
They got Richland at home next week. The only loss they have at home this season was the season opener against Eagleville.
Right.
So I think Huntland being at home next week's got an edge. You hadn't seen Coach, have you? He'll be here. He won't stand us up, Lee. He might have decided to come in a little bit later because it's raining. Which I wouldn't blame him a bit if he did. Let's see. Let's skip down to Cherokee and Tennessee High. Tennessee High with a huge upset last week, 28-21 over Crockett, Lee. I didn't see that.
Me either.
Yeah.
Remember, I told you my buddy's got a kid on that team.
Yep, you
Trevor
did.
Dowdell.
You almost picked that upset, didn't you?
I did. I was wanting to go that way because they're pretty good, man. They
Yep.
lost to Dobbins Bennett.
Yep, that's right. That's their only loss.
That's their only loss. Buddy, I'm gonna go with Tennessee High.
Oh, me too. All the way, man. This may potentially be a decent game, and I don't think it will. You look at what Crockett done against Cherokee, beat them
Right.
pretty soundly. I think Tennessee wins this one. Coalfield and Oliver Springs. This is a huge game over in Region 1. This is to secure a home field in the playoffs, as obviously Greenback is already, and we talked to Coach Ryan earlier tonight. Greenback is locked up the region title in Region 2. Coalfield and Oliver Springs, the winner of this one will be the 2 seed. The loser will be the 3 seed. Man, this is one of those games that kind of went back and forth on. Did he say Oliver Springs' best player is out now, or was out when they played him?
Against him.
Okay, so he's so apparently he's back now.
Is that Oliver Springs?
Yep.
Who you got?
I'm gonna go Yellow Jackets,
Coalfield.
but I could see it going either way. I
I'm
like
gonna go Coalfield.
go Coalfield. Two spread
Close
teams.
though, close.
Yeah, I agree.
Oliver Springs playing good.
Yeah, they're playing real good.
Lost to Greenback, no nada.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'll go Coalfield.
I don't know. I mean,
You
actually,
can flip it. I mean,
yeah, I was going Oliver Springs heading into this one, and I just at the last minute talked myself out of it. Lee, the next game, Knoxville Central and South Doyle. I think Central's got some kids suspended for this one. They got a receiver, Unique Valentine, and Isaiah Osborne, who is a kick returner, and I think he's also, I believe he's a receiver. I'm not sure about that, but two key players suspended for this game. Got in the fight. Well, I think they actually got some unnecessary roughness. Got a couple of them. I think if you get 2 of them, you're ejected. I believe that's what happened against Carter last week. Carter's coach got kicked out of the game.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So, does that affect the outcome of this region title game tonight? What you thought? Of course, Knox Central still undefeated, 8-0. South Doyle with the one region loss to Seymour when their bell cow Elijah Young was out. Yeah,
He had a big ball game last week against a good Halls team.
he did.
I think I went Halls.
You did.
Man, does this weather's playing a lot of tricks on my mind right now, Mike, because of Falver I love.
Yeah, me too.
They're talking about the quarterback at Knox Central.
Mm-hmm. He's a real deal.
He's a stud. But those receivers are out. One's the second leading receiver on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going up against Elijah Young. Who you got? Help me here, Mike.
Well, I wanted Central before all this rain come in, and since the rain's come in, I'm actually going to go with the strong running back, Elijah Young. I'm probably going to go with the Cherokees in this one.
At home?
Yep.
Probably
Central's got a crazy long winning streak on the line too. You know, they won the title last year. I don't know how many games they won last year, but obviously they got one of the longest winning streaks in the state. Split it.
No, I can't, man. I'm gonna go South Doyle with you. I think Elijah Young's on fire.
Yeah, he's a stud, man. He had 302 yards on just 15 carries last week, 5 total touchdowns, 4 rushing, 1 receiving. Yeah, he's something else. But you know, you got to keep an eye on Caleb Fortner. He had a big game for Central last week. He had 16 tackles, 7 for loss. You know, he had a sack. You know, he might be a difference maker in this rain tonight.
What was the score last year?
35-0 Central last year.
At Central.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably wasn't raining either.
Flipping?
No.
No Mully?
No, I'm gonna go South Doyle.
No Mulligan. All right. I'm gonna go with it also. McMinn County, Lee at Maryville. This is for a region title. 2 undefeated, 8-0 teams.
Yep.
I think maybe McMinn can keep this game close early, but I think Maryville pulls away in the second half.
Oh yeah, Maryville at home.
Not a chance. When's the last time they lost at home to a region opponent? I think it's been like 20 years or something. It's something crazy, some crazy number. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Rebs.
Rebels at home. All right, Lee. Gatlinburg at Alcoa. Alcoa has 6 shutouts in 8 games. The only 2 teams that scored on them was Blackman and Maryville.
Yep.
That defense is stout, and Coach Rankin, when we had him on earlier, you know, he was talking about that defense. Coach Rankin's teams showed a lot of improvement. I don't think they're ready for this hurdle.
I don't think so either. I was a little surprised at the Austin East score. GP and Austin East.
Yeah.
I thought GP would give them trouble.
I did too.
But Austin East about doubled them up, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's tornadoes.
Tornadoes. Another game that was played last night. Lake County just demolished Greenfield, 56-0.
They are on a tear, dude.
Man, they're on another level.
They really are right now. They're just on a tear.
That's gonna be a fun if
they're
it goes.
Winning the region games by 40 points a game, man.
I know. And it's I think they're on a collision course with Huntington. That game, like I say, man, if that happens Thanksgiving, we need to go watch that
sir.
game. Those people have been on me pretty hard about not getting over.
You want to talk about that game right there a little bit?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I don't know a lot about what I know that Gallatin went up early. Beach took the lead at halftime, and Gallatin scored first and second half. Correct?
It was 7-3, or yes, it was 7-0, or
7-3 at halftime.
7-3 at half, and 7-3 Beach at half.
Yes.
And then Gallatin come out, scored in the third, went up 10-7, and then Beach scored late. I think. Midway through the fourth, 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And went up 14-10, which I figured this would be a low-scoring game because their defenses are good and they like to run the ball.
Yeah.
I'm interested to find out. I should have called Coach Watson and find out if Montez Banks played. I think one of his QBs, Banks was a little banged up.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
One of them.
Well, you need to ask old Keith Robertson. He was there.
Yeah.
Check with him at work. He'll know.
But, man, they're going to meet again.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Lee, we'll save that game right there. That's our last game. Tell you what, let's take a quick break and see where we're at with
Coach.
Getting Coach Woods on with us. Mike Mulder and Lee Teat. This is a Friday main event. We'll be back after this. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you a minute about our title sponsor, CoachT.com. We appreciate Jim Thompson and all the guys over at Coach T joining up with us. We'll be partnered with them for the 2nd consecutive year. So, Friday main event, we're honored to be associated with such a great website. If you're into high school sports, whether you play, you have a child that plays, or an ordinary fan, CoachT.com is a place you need to check out. And it's not just football. I mean, football is probably the biggest reason people visit CoachT.com. But if you have a kid into any other sport, softball, baseball, basketball, golf, soccer, if it's a high school sport, most likely you're going to find some information on CoachT.com. But what I want to talk to you about in particular is the Coach T Plus membership, which I happen to be a part of. For the second year in a row, the Coach T Plus membership will be donation based. So you decide what Coach T is worth to you. That's what's so great about the website. You can make as much commitment to the website as you feel comfortable with. Now, myself, I'm on the website, multiple times a day, as a matter of fact. So, I feel like I owe it to the website and I owe it to Coach T to make a nice donation, and hopefully you guys will feel that commitment as well. We do want to keep the website running. Many of us get a lot of enjoyment out of the website, but the Plus membership, you get access to certain boards that you don't have as just a regular member of Coach T. So that's one reason to join the Plus membership. Another reason is you're kind of the captain of your team. You're in charge of the scheduling, or I should say the correction. If there's any corrections need to be made to schedules, any corrections need to be made to the scores that are reported, you have the ability to do that. And that's what the Coach T Plus membership, it kind of provides you a certain degree of ownership into the website. So please check it out, man. It's on the front page. You go to the home page, again, CoachT.com. There's a tab right there where you can click and become a Coach T Plus member. And just because you are now, don't assume you are forever. That is a 1-year membership, so you need to double check, make sure your membership has not expired. Again, from the Friday Man event, we appreciate CoachT.com and hope you guys appreciate. Lee's cold.
Wet, man, to the bone.
Wet and cold.
Wet in the wind.
Roy Dillard said on Coach T, is that teat man soft?
Come get you some if you want to find out.
Oh, wait. I told him that you was wanting to cancel this morning, and I wouldn't let you because I didn't give all the coaches a hard time about moving games. And Roy says, that teat man soft?
Hey, grab hold of him and find out.
He wanted to call in on do the three-way. He wanted to do a three-way call with Coach Ryan. I was like, we ain't doing that, Roy.
That'd have been pretty funny, probably.
It would if he called, though. I mean, how many times that guy told us he's going to do something, he didn't do it. So,
oh, heck, it's part of his mystique, I guess.
I guess so. If he ever give that away, then it's gone.
That's
so
right.
That's why I don't think he would ever do it. He's a legend in his own mind, so he's got to maintain that. Lee, we've covered all of our games except the one we're at tonight. So what we'll do is quickly, as we wait on Coach Woods, I expect him to. We actually hadn't seen his team yet. Is that going to be an advantage? The fact that Ravenwood's kids are, and we'll take a shot of that. Ravenwood's kids are already out here in the rain, man. I guess this game's a 7 kickoff, is it not, Lee?
Maybe 7 o'clock kickoff.
I think it's 7. So you see Ravenwood already out here in the rain, getting wet, getting soaked, getting the pads heavy, as Coach Hughes said. Is that going to be an advantage tonight? The fact that Cane Ridge is not?
I don't know. It could be. Maybe Coach Daniels wants them out here getting used to what it's going to feel like in the third and fourth quarter with the ball. And
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
it's different philosophies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you may be exactly right, man. I don't know. Anyway, what I was going to do, Lee, was I was going to go down, like I say, very quickly, all the playoff scenarios for each class. And you chime in anytime you want to. In quad 1, 1A, I think that is pretty well set except for one game. We got Cloudland's going to host Harriman in the first round league. You got Region 2, Coalfield Oliver Springs winner will host Jellicoe. And then you got Hancock County Region 1, number 2 seed will host the loser of that Coalfield Oliver Springs game. And then we know Greenback will be playing Unica. So, who do you like coming out of that quad?
Oh, Greenback.
All the way. Any challenges that they'll walk?
They'll walk.
That's kind of what I thought too. Now moving down to
this one's a little interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, I think it is
up until
yep. Right. And we got South Pittsburgh Copper Basin winner. I'd be shocked if that's not South Pittsburgh. And, of course, they'll get the loser between Gordonsville and Joe Burns. And then the Region 4 2 seed will be the Monterey-Clay County loser game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So the loser of that game will take the 2 seed, and they'll host Sales Creek. The winner of that, the loser of the Copper Basin South Pitt game, which will be the 2 seed in Region 3, will host the winner of Gordonsville and Joe Burns, which would be the 3rd seed in Region 4. And then, of course, the Region 4 winner, which will be the game tonight, Monterey and Clay County. The winner of that game will host the winner between Whitwell and Lookout Valley next week.
Yeah, I definitely see a Monterey South Pittsburgh probably a collision course right here in South Pitt out of Quad 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of what I'm seeing now.
Yeah,
right now.
I think so. I agree with you on that. Moving on down, Lee, Quad 3. Of course, this is a pretty interesting quad. We talked about it a little. Fayetteville is locked in as a 1 seed, and but the Region 6 is still crazy wide open. Also, Huntington has the 1 seed, but you still have Brewston, Collinwood, and Wayne County all competing for that number 2 seed. So the whoever comes out of that 3-way tie there on the short end will travel to Fayetteville. You've got McEwen, the 2 seed. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Colin. All 3 of them are competing for the last 2 spots.
Last 2 spots.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm sorry. So you got McEwen, who will be the 2 seed in Region 6.
Correct.
Well, right now the way it sits, now we're setting this scenario up, assuming that Huntland is going to take care of business next week. Now, if they lose their game next week to Richland, all this is out the door. But if that happens as it should, then you would have Cornersville as a 3 seed traveling to McEwen, and then you would have Huntland hosting the top dog out of that 3-way split between Collinwood, Brewston, and Wayne County. Correct?
Yes.
And then you've got Huntington will host the Moore County Mount Pleasant winner again, that being dependent upon Huntland beating Richland next week. Is that clear as mud?
Mm-hmm.
So who do you like in this quad here?
You're probably going to laugh when I hear this, but I may be leaning towards Fayetteville.
Over Huntington? Really?
Yep.
I'm going 1,000% against you on that one.
I may go Fayetteville.
All right. Well, I mean, it can happen because we didn't think Cornersville would get past Huntington the last 2 years, and they did. So yeah, it could happen, man. You may be on to something. Fayetteville's looked really good this year, but I'm going to stick with Huntington. Swenson said it's the best team he's ever had. Yeah. So I'm going to go with them.
Go back to that for a minute, please.
Yeah. Oh, you reading my notes down there?
No, I'm looking at this. Huntington's going to face off against the winner of the Moore County.
Yeah,
Mount
the loser of Moore County Mount Pleasant will miss the playoffs.
Right.
So
which Moore County and Mount Pleasant are physical teams.
Yes.
And then they'll have to square up against who? The winner of this
Huntland. Most likely Huntland.
Huntland.
Yeah.
Another physical team.
So you're looking at it, if everything goes the way it should, you're looking at Huntington and Huntland in the second round.
Right. But I'm looking at it from Huntington having to play maybe, even though they're a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Their path to get to Fayetteville, the 2 teams they'll have to get through might be a little bit more physical match. And, injuries can.
Well, McEwen's playing as good as anybody right now, so I don't know if I can.
That's true.
I don't know if I can say that either,
I mean, we had Huntington as our what? As 1?
We had them as
2, somewhere there.
We had them as 2 or 3 in our preseason top 10. I can't remember. We had Greenback 1, and then we had South Pitt and Huntington.
Yeah, Huntington.
I'm not sure of the order there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I may go Huntington out of the quad, but I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if Fayetteville don't play them.
Yeah,
hard.
I think that'll be your quarterfinal matchup. Lake County down in Quad 4, Lee, will take on Booker T. Washington. And then you got Middle College MASE loser. That team will be the 2 seed in Region 8, and they'll host the Greenfield West Carroll loser. The Greenfield West Carroll winner will host Memphis East, and then Middle College MASE winner will win Region 8 and will host Dresden. So that's pretty sad outside of a couple of games.
Lake County.
Yeah, Lake County all the way. I mean, ain't gonna get in much conversation on that quad. Quad 1 and 2A, Lee. Check See if that old Cane Ridge. Man, that rain's getting harder, brother.
Yeah, no.
Harder and harder. Oh boy, we are a couple of dummies. DUMM. Is it IES or YS? I'm so
That
I'm
explains
so
it.
much a dummy I can't even spell it.
Yeah. Yes, bub.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, I never claimed to be a speller. I was pretty good in math though.
Yeah.
Happy Valley and Cumberland Gap. We're looking at quad 1 and 2A. We'll square off round 1. Happy Valley, and that's again Mace County. They should cruise if they're in. If Happy Valley defeats South Green, they win the title. If South Green defeats Happy Valley, then Hampton will win the title. So I'm laying this out as if Happy Valley wins, but that may not happen. South Green's got a pretty good team.
Yeah.
But if Happy Valley wins, they'll host Cumberland Gap. Oneida, the 2 seed in Region 2, will host South Green. Hampton will host Rockwood, and Meigs County would host Sullivan North. Again, that's all dependent upon Happy Valley defeating South Green.
Yeah, I'd say Meigs.
Meigs all the way.
Now this one right here is.
This is an interesting region here.
This quad is tough.
Yeah, it is very tough. You've got Tyner will host the Westmoreland. Cascade's actually in a position to make the playoffs, believe it or not. I mean, they don't have a very good record. I think only 2 or 3 wins. But if they beat Westmoreland, they would be the 4 seed, and they'd get rewarded with a trip to Tyner.
Right.
I don't even know if I'd try to win that game too hard.
Whew.
Trousdale County will host Marion County. Those 2 teams are very familiar with each other. A lot of matchups over the years.
Yep.
East Robertson travels to Bledsoe County. And then you've got Tellico Plains traveling to number 1 seed Watertown. Watertown almost pulled an upset last night.
Man, they played Upperman to the wire,
Yep,
dude.
1
I think
point.
Upperman went for 2.
Did they? I didn't know how it played out. But yeah, Watertown, Gavin Wester's got a heck of a ball
They're
team.
good.
Yeah.
That's a good, interesting quad right there.
Absolutely. But Trousdale County, again, 2 years in a row, they got to go through Tyner and Watertown both to get to the Meigs County game. They did it last year. They can do it again. Lee, looking at quad 3, this quad's pretty crazy also. You got Forest Lewis County. The winner of that game next week, we'll be there. We'll be at that game. Play Hickman County. Houston County, Region 6 2 seed will host. And again, this is a region where you got 3 teams competing for a couple of spots. Summertown, Lewis County, Eagleville, whoever gets that 3rd seed will go to Houston County. The winner of those 3, Forest Tiebreakers, goes host Riverside, and then Waverly will also host one of those seasons. I guess what I'm getting at is Region 5 is just nothing's really decided yet. Absolutely nothing's decided.
Right.
Not even the region champ. Quad 4, Lee, Peabody will host MAHS. Mitchell will host Adamsville McKenzie winner. Union City will host Douglas, and Fairleigh will host Adamsville McKenzie loser. And this is all dependent. That's assuming Peabody beats Gibson County, and Gibson County actually will miss the playoffs, believe it or not, with a 6-4. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
Peabody.
Yeah. Loser. Lost both. Sorry, I'm reading my notes there. I was making sure I got that right. Yeah, I think I got all that laid out right. Peabody, yeah, 100%, no doubt. Union City, man, surprisingly getting a 2 seed, given as much as they've struggled this year. Adamsville has come on strong. They've looked really good this year. I thought they would be better. All right, Lee. Tell you what, brother, I'm dangerously close to tearing this stuff down and getting out of here. What are you thinking?
Let's talk about this game right here behind us, and then we can do it.
Tear it down. I'm all for it, man. It's just people just cannot appreciate how
bad
hard
it is right now.
It's coming down, man. See, if I still got that outside camera on, yeah, you can't. That picture does not.
Well, okay, right back in there.
Yeah.
It's hills. You can't see.
Yeah, that's right. It's coming
gonna
down hard.
flood.
Yeah. Again, you can't get a true idea of how hard it's coming down.
Yeah, they might see right in the corner right there.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look
it's
over.
raining sideways.
Yeah. If you look over at the concrete over there at the track, you can tell how hard the rain is coming down. See, we're gonna get soaked tearing this crap down. Dead gummit. All right. It is what it is, right, Lee?
Yeah. Let's talk about
Troopers.
This game. Trooper, man.
Lee, we are at Ravenwood High School as Cane Ridge come over to Ravenwood. I put the camera on you so everybody can laugh at you when you make a bad pick here. Now, I tell you, Lee, this game right here, and I hope the drunken sailor's watching because this right here is where he's going to gain some ground or lose some serious ground. Look at that rain. You can really see that now coming off
Oh, yeah.
up here. Ravenwood is a 97% pick in the Coach T Big Ones contest.
Really?
97%. That's almost. There's no freaking way
That's
Cane Ridge can win.
insurmountable odds, right?
It's insurmountable odds.
Not so fast.
Guess who's in the 3%?
3%ers.
This guy, right? You going that way too?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, the reason why I'm going that way, Lee, is I love Xavier Clemens, the quarterback of Cane Ridge. 18 TDs, 3 interceptions, 1,145 yards. I think he's only played in 5 games so far. You've got 7 kids with over 100 yards rushing.
That's why I'm going with them.
You got 9 kids with at least 1 rushing TD. 3 kids out of, I think 3 kids on the team already have over 350 yards rushing. All this, what I'm getting at is they're very balanced on offense. And what I like is something that Matt Daniels may not know. I don't know how he would know it unless he watched the Friday main event. Xavier Clemens can run the ball. Now, you look at his stats, he's got 13 carries for 8 yards. So that doesn't tell you he can run the ball, does it? He's been sacked, I would assume, is why the yard is where it's at. But he hasn't had to run the ball. Since he's been in the lineup, they've killed everybody. He's not had to scramble and make plays with his legs. He can do it.
And their 2 losses are to Brentwood.
Right.
Who beat this team here at Ravenwood.
Yep.
And Pearl.
And both of those losses were without
Xavier Clemens.
Exactly.
The reason I like Cane Ridge tonight, Mike, obviously, is, like I said, they got 7 kids with over 100 yards rushing. And I think that's what you're going to see tonight. I think they're going to try to keep the ball away from Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put it in his hands. That's how you beat them. Don't put it in his hands.
Right.
And I think Coach Woods is good enough up front to do it. Tight, though. I think it's going to be a tight ball game. But I'm going to go Cane Ridge.
You surprised me on that one. I didn't think you'd go that way. Well, we're like I say, we're going to look like the 2 smartest guys in the state are a couple of big dummies sitting here with the insurmountable odds that everybody thinks Ravenwood, they've already given them the win essentially. So.
Well, we like Kenneth Allen too, preseason All-Stater, offensive lineman for Cane Ridge. I just think up front it's going to be a battle, and I think Coach Woods has a lot of guys that he can shuttle in and out.
Yeah.
And
let's see what Coach Woods, he texts me back.
Yeah, just tell him we're going to tear it down with soaked. We'll get up with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell him. No problem, brother. He is my brother.
Yes, he is.
Well, we're going to tear it down, get him wet. All right, Lee, are we done?
I think so, man. But
have you had enough?
Week 10. We have a week like this every year.
I'll just tell him we'll catch him next week.
Yep.
He said the traffic's bad, so there may be a lot of Cane Ridge fans that late getting over here.
That's correct.
Apparently they're hung up in traffic.
Oh, it don't surprise me none, right? With this weather.
It's terrible around here.
On a Friday, too.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, I've enjoyed it, but I'm cold.
I'm cold. You ready to call it a day?
Where I got wet. It's all good.
It's all good. We'll survive.
We have
We're troopers,
like
ain't
this.
we?
We have
I got
weeks like this.
I got a raincoat, I think, so I'm gonna stand out in it for a little while anyway. I don't know if I probably won't be here at the end of the game. We might pull our press passes out and go up in the press box.
Go in the box.
I might do that. I hadn't done that this year. I might do that. That sounds like a good idea for tonight. All right, Mr. Teat. So we'll be at Forest next week. Forest and Lewis County Region Championship. As always, man, we appreciate you guys tuning in and checking us out. Sorry that the lighting initially was bad to start the show, but I mean you got to cut us a little slack.
Yeah, we got to do what we got to do.
we had a pretty rough situation over here, but hey,
That ought to tell them how much we love it. We ain't
that's
getting
right.
paid for this, and
No.
sitting out here in the rain and talking football.
But we love it. We love it. You know we love it. We'd be doing it if it's snowing. Well, maybe not. We'd probably be inside if it's snowing.
No, I'd rather be in the snow.
Than the rain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too. I can wrap up. All right, Lee. So again, appreciate CoachT.com. Everything Coach T, Jim
Yes,
Thompson,
sir.
and all his bunch. We appreciate those guys. Appreciate you, brother, for coming out here and suffering through the elements. I think it's despite the elements, it's been a pretty good show.
Yep. Well, we got one more week of the regular season, right?
One more week of the regular season.
Where are we going to be next week?
At Forest. Be at Forest.
Versus Lewis County.
Versus Lewis County. You wouldn't even listen to me when I said that a while ago, was you?
No, I'm just trying to get you to remind people tune in.
We may move it indoors, Lee, for the postseason. We may move it to Thursday, and we're considering doing that. That worked out pretty good last year.
Yeah.
So I think that may be what we'll do. We'll cover all the possibilities next week. I know we didn't get all of them done this week, but we'll cover them all next week. And I guess that's it. Is that it? You got anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Well, you go out and enjoy your high school games, kind of like Coach Hughes said, man. If you're a high school football fan, get out and watch a game tonight. A little rain ain't going to hurt you. If we can do it, you can do it.
That's exactly right.
For Lee T, I'm Mike Mulder, Friday Main Event. We'll see you guys next week.